My name is Maria Carmo. I'm part of the Cardano community, and today I brought here the Cardashift team.
Hi Maya.
Hello.
Hello. Where are you speaking from? I see that your accents are all different, and I love it in the Cardano community. You are from everywhere.
We are dialing from Paris. And we are French.
So what I would like to know from you today, we did have an interview in the channel a few weeks back, but I would like to know who are you and what you do in the Cardashift project. Get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. Ladies first.
Okay, so I'm Anaïs and I'm working in Cardashift since September. Lastly, I worked mainly on the project selection and the impact assessment of them. And now I'm in charge of the community side and the communication we are doing for those projects.
Cool. And I'm Vincent. I'm one of the co-founder of Cardashift and the actual executive director. And basically, I'm in charge of making the first launchpad and the first batch happen with all the team. We're 20 plus on board full time at the moment. So a lot of people, and happy to be here today.
I know. I think the ecosystem exploding in every single project. We are so busy, like heads down, working and make sure we are in the revolution, as I call blockchain Web3 the revolution, and is why I have this channel. So, do you have some updates from the project? Something that you would like the community to know?
Yeah, with pleasure. Vincent.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Maybe you repeat what I say. So. We did finish the ICO end of January, and I think that's when we first recorded together. You were with Trish and with Fred from the team, and just right after the ICO, we've been mainly focusing on two things, which are one, project selection. So out of 250 projects, we gathered down 10 projects which we will present to the community, which we already presented to the community at the time of publishing the video. And we also are developing the launchpad, the actual platform where people are going to vote and fund the project. So that was our main two focus in the last few months. And we had also a lot of partnerships going on and other types of actions we want to push for the longer term, but the main focus was on first batch and launchpad version 1. And maybe Anis, you can talk a bit about the updates and the dates that are to come.
Yeah, so we are pleased to announce that this launchpad will be released really soon, which has been released so just on the 11th of May. So you can now deep dive into the 10 projects we selected during the last 2 months. We are thrilled to show all of those projects to you. You can talk with the founders now on Discord, and you will be able to meet them. So first, during the demo day, the demo day happened on May 16, where each founder of projects will pitch its project on YouTube in a live session. And after this, each evening, you will be able to attend an AMA with a project founder, and ask them any question. So the community will be able, yes, to discuss with them and deep dive into their activity.
I see. So you're going to put all these people together to talk about their own project so they can defend to the community why you fund this project and not the other projects, kind of giving voice to the people and bring power to the edges, as Charles Hoxton liked to say.
Yeah, completely. The aim of doing this is to let the community vote for their favorite projects. So to elect those favorite projects, they will be able to meet the project funders, deep dive into the project page on the Launchpad, discuss with them on Discord, and that's the aim.
And is there a minimum requirement for being a voter, for example?
Yeah, so the idea being you need to hold CLAP, so our Cardashift token, and you'll need to have at least 1,000 CLAP tokens, so it's approximately $50 at the moment, to be able to vote. However, if you have a Cardano native wallet like NAMI or FLINT, which are the two which are already implemented on the launchpad, you'll get 10 voting tickets per default. For us, the idea being we want to have as much people from the Cardano ecosystem as possible to vote and to give interest to the project we are pushing forward. So everybody's going to have 10 voting tickets, and if you have 1,000 CLAP or more, you will get more voting tickets, more voting powers in the vote.
So I would like to say to who is watching our video, I'm gonna put all the links that you need to watch the AMA and everything else on the description. So would you like to say anything about the impact side?
Yeah, if you want to. So we screened 250 projects that applied to a launchpad during the last 2 months. And one of the key topic we were assessing in this project was impact. So basically we are focusing on 7 themes and either on the environmental or social side. And that was our main focus, I think, with the team and their business. Impact was really our main focus because that's the aim of Cardashift. So yeah, we assessed the positive impact, but also the negative externalities of each project. We deep dived into each point of their roadmap to see if there will have an impact in a short term and not in a too long term. We don't want projects that have an impact in 2050 years. So it was our main focus, yes.
Is there a specific type of project that could apply for in your platform? For example, there is projects that only capture video projects. There are other projects that only capture NFT artists. Would you like to touch up a little bit on that? Who would be able to go to your platform and benefit as we are explaining here?
Sure. So the idea for us, and I was just saying about that, is to have impactful business who's got positive impact on our world. So it can be environmental one or social one. We have 7 themes which are linked to the basic human needs. So basically you need to have water, you need to have food, you need to live in an ecosystem which is coherent, etc. You need to have access to bank, to money, to finance, you need to have education, etc. So based on those crucial needs, if your project's working on those topics, you're definitely eligible to apply on that. But still, you need to be able to demonstrate a business model, because we do for-profit businesses only at the moment. And you need also to be able to demonstrate that you will have a short-term impact. Your time to impact is the least long as possible. Like just as I said, if it's in 10 years that you have an impact, we won't be able to take you in, because the urgency is now, and we need to have an impact now or in the coming years, and not in too long time frame. So it's the basic one we choose, and we have also a selection committee which handle the fact that you need to be able to think about tokenization before we put a project on a badge. So basically, because we will emit on the market a token for each project, the token needs to be interesting, to be backed by something, needs to have value, and not only a token to raise funds. It should have a real utility in the ecosystem tomorrow, and that's our main filters. So impact first, short-term impact on basic human needs? And then are you able to demonstrate a business model, and are you able to tokenize this business model? So I must wrap up.
So Anna, would you like to share some news about the platform?
Yes, of course, I can share the launchpad. So what we want users to do is first diving in the project that will be available. So in Vote for projects, you can deep dive in each project, each of the 10 projects of this batch Genesis. You can see the themes they are addressing, the 17 we were talking about, they are addressing, and clicking on the project, you can discover this project. And the second thing we want users to do is to register to vote. As Vincent was saying, every Cardano or NAMI and FLINT wallet holder, with even if there are no claps in it, can register and get 10 voting tickets. So you just have to click on connect my wallet and connect your wallet. For now, for this first batch, we are handling only NAMI and FLINT. So connect your wallet, and then you can just connect your wallet here. It's really simple. Just click on the wallet you're using, and you will get rewards for this. So your voting tickets, according 10 at the basis, but according also to the amount of clap you held during the registration, you will get voting tickets, and also clap rewards according to this amount of clap you held. We are rewarding the clap holders for this governance, for participating in this governance system, giving them claps at the end of the voting session if they held clap during it.
Maybe we should try out the simulator, right?
Yeah. For instance, perfect. If you held, I don't know, okay, let's type 10,000 claps, you will get 110 voting tickets and 1,300 claps at the end of the voting session in reward. You can try it with your own amount of clap. And then you can deep dive into projects. Okay, you can click on any project and deep dive in it. So you have an overview with the challenge the project is addressing, the solution the project is bringing, and the impact potential of this solution that all impact team made. Then the roadmap and the team as well. You have also Business Insight tab to see which client users they are targeting and their business insight, their business model and the fundraising model, their info advantage, why you should pick this project and not another. And you also have a token tab that is not displayed here, but it's on reality on the real website. What's the token tab, Vincent?
So basically, the token type is some basic thoughts we have with the projects while auditing them first time. So it's a first glimpse of what a tokenomics would look like tomorrow. It's not set in stone. The idea being we want to do that in the pre-funding support. So after a project is elected by the community, we will support him for 6 to 8 weeks at least to create the whole economy around a token, etc. But we wanted to give at least some few thoughts and ways for our community to think about it and give us some infos, ideas on how we could use a token for this specific use case. And as you can see, it's just basic bullet points on tokenomics governance and fields of exploration. So ideas. The idea being we want to push our community to give us feedback and give us the ideas, basically, because tomorrow we believe our community will be certainly the one who's gonna help projects create their own token economies, and we won't be only doing that all alone. So we need to encourage the community to talk a lot about everything you can see on a project page, and challenge us basically on what we think, what our experts have been doing, etc., etc.
And if the community want to share its ideas, you have the Discord link here, and you will have it. The Discord link to all Discord and to the channel of the project that will be on all Discord to share ideas about tokenomics, but also about business and the impact of this project. Or we really want to all community be welcome to share any idea they have. Basically, there are 10 projects, 6 on the environmental topics and 4 on social ones. So maybe you want to begin with Savannah?
Yeah, definitely. So Savannah is a farm-to-fork system, the idea being to create a transparent and equitable ecosystem connecting local good, fresh food producers with vendors and consumers, especially in the local economy. They are going to start in Mali, where they are from. And it's quite interesting how they could recreate a local economies and empower farmers from the ground to create value, to transform their products together, and to create whole new ecosystems locally. So it's a farm-to-fork system in Mali first.
For Jua, it's an environmental one that transforms organic waste into both renewable energy and biofertilizers. So taking waste after human consumption and with their biotechnicals, with the biofertilizers and with the biomachines, they are creating renewable energy, basically methane, and biofertilizers to help soils to rebuild the destructed soils by agriculture.
Yeah, so Welcome. Welcome is a spin-off from Singa. Singa is a huge association here in Europe, especially in France, around refugee care, basically. The idea of Welcome is it's a curated marketplace to give immigrants, not only refugees, rapid and direct access to essential services. So it can be bank accounts, internet, employment, training, learning, I don't know, anything. They are launching that with the actual crisis in Ukraine, and they are having a lot of host families here in France, for instance, more than 3,000 families willing to accept a refugee for more than 6 to 12 months. So it's a long-term period. And the idea is basically to create all the systems and all the product and services you need when you come to a new country, whether you are a refugee or someone who's just immigrating to a new country for whatever the reason is.
Pyxo then is building a big network of reusable food containers. So the basic aim of Pyxo is to replace disposable containers into reusable ones, and creating the network behind this. From plates in restaurants, in delivery systems, to the washing center, and then back to the delivery system, to the consumer, etc. Really interesting to replace plastics and all disposable containers that we have today in the food distribution.
Very innovative, all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit quickly around Revolt. I can take that.
Yeah.
So Revolt is more in the electric car market industry, which is booming at the moment, as you all know. So Revolt is their claim is to make electric cars last 100 years. At the moment, there are a lot of problems when you're willing to repair your electric car, and most of the time, after 3 years, it's just basically throw away to garbage, and they're trying to create a whole network of garage here in France, firstly, and a lot of services also. And they've just implemented their first garage in Rennes, I think, in France. So it's renewal of the garage, especially, which are today mostly on thermic motors, and they have no competences in terms of electrical cars. So it's a huge market for them.
Yeasty quickly is about food. They aim to feed the humanity, basically. So on their protein needs. So they are creating protein-rich ingredients from unused yeast from beer producer. So basically taking the yeast at the end of beer producers and transforming it into protein-rich ingredient that can feed people and reach their basic daily protein needs with these ingredients.
Yeah, is it right that if we take half of the yeast, worldwide yeast, we can feed 100 million people?
100 million people, yeah. So
okay.
100 million people is huge, and alternative to animal proteins that are mainly used today are really necessary in our world, because animal proteins are today the biggest emitters in the food sector of CO2 emissions. So it's important to find solution to replace this.
Sure. Let's talk about Mayan. So Mayan is a search engine for Africa that shares 30% of their revenues to association tackling SDG goals in Africa. So basically, Musa was from Microsoft, and he was working on Bing, the browser, and he discovered that people were thinking Africa was one and only one country. So basically, it was not fitted at all for local research, etc., etc. So he decided to launch Mayan, and as of today, is willing to tokenize a lot of the business model to go like everybody here on the table knows about Brave browser. I think it's something that will look like Brave in some sort in the time. That's Mayan.
Asilimia is providing a solution for digital bookkeeping in countries where bookkeeping and the financial side is handled by hand, writing on papers and not in banks, as we can know in European country, for instance. So it's enabling African micro businesses to manage all of their finance in one place, and even get profit, but get benefits, because if there are micro businesses and the finance are managed somewhere and written in a secure place, we can rely on this to get them, for instance, credits. And so this is what they are aiming to do, allow credits to micro businesses to make them grow based on this bookkeeping app they are providing to micro businesses. It's super important because today banks can't allow credits and lend money to micro businesses because this bookkeeping is by hand and not reliable, if I can say this. So super important to develop economic growth in a country, in a not to developed countries today. So they are, for the moment, they begin to work in Kenya, and they are willing to expand in Africa, other African countries?
It's more or less the same problem of people without ID that can access services. I guess that the entrepreneur without their registers of what money get in or get out of the company, they wouldn't have access to the credits in the financial world.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it joined a huge topic of decentralized identity and how you can be recognized as a holder in the country. Then Cardano want to do? I can do it if you want, and then you will.
Yeah, I can try it. I'm a bit more the social project, the environmental one is a bit difficult for some of them to understand what they're really doing. But basically, Cardano is working with the industrial processes, especially the high consuming CO2 consuming industries. So they are decreasing the carbon footprint of those industries by recycling the carbon dioxide, which is at the end of the chimney, into useful chemicals. So basically, they work on the whole cycle. They transform the CO2 into CONO2, and they refeed that at the beginning of the whole cycle in the industry. So basically, is more like you don't need to buy CONO2 from elsewhere. You can capture CONO2 at the end of your cycle and put that into the beginning again. So it's quite interesting to see what they're trying to achieve, and they're incubated at the moment by Air Liquide, which is one of the biggest company in the whole world into those kind of things.
Yeah, for chemical sites. Yeah, really interesting. The solution that provide to transform CO2 and CONO2, and useful for companies to reduce directly CO2 emission. It's one of the most direct project to reduce CO2 emissions. And I can end with Aquaverse. So Aquaverse is aiming to depollute our oceans from micropollutions using sea sponges. Sea sponges are fascinating animals. It's written. They can bioaccumulate microparticles and filter massive quantity of seawater. So they can depollute oceans from microplastics, from heavy metals, from some chemicals. Yeah, so it's really interesting how they are addressing this challenge. That's the only projects already used to blockchain, if I can say this. They already launched an NFT collection about on their sea sponges, about their ecosystem. But we took them because they are really focusing on a real world problem and then the environmental side. So really interesting to see how they can scale and depollute as much as possible the oceans. So now you have you get a quick idea of all the projects pitched by us, but you can come also to the demo day on Monday that will where all the project funders will pitch their projects by themselves, and you can also already deep dive into this Cardashift launchpad to discover this genesis and register to it for them.
Thank you. Very impressive, the platform, the project and what they're trying to solve.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is this is really real world projects that are tackling only issues that are understood by everyone, every human being on this planet. So really interesting to see how we can bring this to blockchain. That's not really the case for the moment. So interesting to see how we can bring RealFi to DeFi, if I can say this.
Time, will the amount of projects grow? How are you planning this growth as you go along? how you see these projects growing from 10 to 20 and so on?
Yeah, that's a big question, actually. Like, as of today, why we decided to take on only 10 projects to put in front of the community, and we will select 2, maximum 3 projects out of the voting session. It's basically based on our capacity, the 3 companies behind Cardashift, to absorb those new businesses. Because for us, it's basically we have new clients, we have new project to push, etc. So we need to be able to handle everybody. And at the moment, we believe we can only handle 2 or 3 per batch. So every 3 to 4 months. So we'll have 3 to 4 batches a year. So it will be between 8 and 12 projects a year in the coming years. And the idea behind that is we are already working with some partners to see who we could onboard as a new service provider into the ecosystem, so they can basically do our job too. For instance, in Southern America, in Brazil, as you said, Maria, we could have a blockchain company, an innovation company, and a product company working also together in Brazil to make a Brazilian batch, or I don't know, for instance, and they could work together. We won't be there to work on the projects, etc., etc. So for us, we have the capacity to handle some projects, and we are already working on integrating new service providers so we can scale the model largely. But it won't be that till I think 12 to 18 months before we do that. Still, we already have some demands on how we could replicate our launchpad in white label for specific countries, regions, sectors, industries, depends. So yeah, the idea for us is mainly to provide tool and framework, and then we can see how we can scale the model by having a lot of people coming in. Tomorrow, we won't be making the first selection. It will be the community itself, and not us that selected 10 projects out of 250. It will be the community directly, so we won't work that much anymore. Maybe we could have some more time on supporting the project directly. So yeah, a lot of ways to scale.
I think it's cool the way we are growing. You're actually seeing what's going to happen in the few next months and then mold the next steps of the project as we go along, because things could go crazy. We see how crazy things go crazy over Catalyst, got so crazy that now we are not doubling the funds anymore, like went from 16 million to 90 million, something like that. So I fully understand the fact that you actually need to have the steps to grow, so you can actually grow with quality instead of quantity. So thank you very much, Anna, and thank you very much, Vicente, to take the time to talk to me. And I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
See you soon, Maya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.